Welcome back, kiddies, to another episode of RatG TV with your hosts, Zeus and the Wellandwingnut. And they thought I was the crazy one.
Black magic. You got to know, got to show, it's time to roll. So just tell me what you want to hear. Tell me what you want, so just tell me what you want to hear.
Welcome back to another edition of RatG TV. And you could see the smoke is flying in Tatooine there over on the Wellandwingnut side of the board. How's it going, Steve?
Yeah, it's there's always something going on here. It's there you won't find a more wretched place of scum and villainy. So
This is really? Have you ever been to the east side of Welland?
I'm in it.
In it. I was born in it. I was raised in it. East side.
Right, no gang signs, no gang signs.
Welcome back, folks. Yeah. You gotta remember the mirror effect. That's why I wear the Batman symbol. You can't tell if it's facing left or right.
Right. It's very confusing.
Left. So welcome to the show, everybody. I am wearing a Batman shirt. Don't let that fool you, because we are not talking about heroes, and we are not talking about comic book characters either. We are talking specifically about our favorite villains, fictional villains that aren't comic book based. I had to make sure I clarified that with Steve, because I figured we were going to get, like, I don't know who would actually. I kind of want to see your non-fictional villain list. Like, is Jeffrey Dahmer on your list, or is he just disturbed and not really evil? Is
Definitely evil. I mean, you could argue villain, I guess, but I mean, when it comes to mental illness, it's
right.
And he was clearly mentally ill. A lot of these guys, obviously, no sane person fucking kills people, especially in such a fashion like that. Yeah. So,
yeah. Now I'm thinking about it. I want to throw Joseph Kony on there. Hitler, of course.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. There's lots. Stop looking up there. You're gonna get struck by lightning. You're gonna get struck by lightning. So folks, as usual, let us know who some of your favorite fictional, and if you want some favorite real life villains in the comments, and we will share those with the world. If you can, please do us a huge favor. Go over and watch the stream. If you're watching the stream on Ryan's All Things Geek, the Facebook page, or if you're watching it on my Zeus Fleming page, or on the RatG TV group, please go over instead and watch it on our YouTube page. Give us a like and a follow and a subscribe over there. Once we get to, I think it's 1,000 followers, then we get to up our game a little bit. They will unlock some unlockables for us, and we'll be able to do a lot more for you. So please, if you can, go and do that. And I see some people like logging off here, and I don't know if that's just like the normal people we lose.
This isn't what I thought it was.
This isn't White Man Can't Jump. Oh, we'll talk about that. We can't talk about that because you and I had different opinions on it. But I was going to say, like, very, very different, but I don't think it was wildly different, because you had a pretty extreme view on it, and I had a pretty view on it.
Yeah.
I
mean, we can talk about it, right? I get it out of the way. I mean, I thought it was. I shut it off. I shut it off about 30 minutes in.
Yeah.
It wasn't like you said. It wasn't horrible, but I wasn't into it. It was 30 minutes in, and it hadn't grabbed me yet.
Right. And I get that. And maybe the only thing that saved me from the beginning was because I was playing video games at the same time. So I kind of had it on in the background. But I didn't mind it. And the one thing that I was kind of surprised about was how much I actually like Jack Harlow as an actor. I don't know him as a rapper, but I dug
He did a
him.
decent job. Yeah.
Yeah, and he could really ball. So, I mean, yeah, it was. I thought it was a decent movie. I definitely wouldn't say it was anywhere near the original. And what I loved is they weren't the same characters.
Right.
They made fun of the fact they're like, yo, man, you think you're gonna hustle us because you think we've never seen a white dude come on the court and be better than everybody,
Right.
you know? But he did do like if the goofier he dressed, like Woody would, right? And,
Yeah.
you know, and he was in a mixed relationship, you know. So I don't know. I thought it was good, and yeah, and I like that you didn't watch it, so there's not the Wesley Snipes fucking hustle.
Right.
So you know how Sydney hustles him back.
Yeah.
There's none of that. There's none of that in this at all. And you know, Jack Harlow deals with getting addicted to fucking painkillers and stuff like that. So that's a bigger part of the story that gets into it. But you know, it was all right. It was all right as background noise. I give it a 5, 5.5
Out of
10.
okay.
Oh yeah, you're the one that does out of 5. I do 10s. Gives me a little more wiggle room to make it sound nicer.
It does make it a little easier sometimes.
It really does, because those ones that are just on the cusp.
But 10 seconds is just way too long. And
Yo, man, I really dig your 10-second reviews, and I was actually going to start posting them up on my fucking TikTok page. Because why not? Those are the best segments. All right. Speaking of segments, the whole reason why everybody's here is to find out who our favorite fictional villains are. And why don't we do that without further ado? My brother, you start us off as you do every week. Who's your number 5 villain and why?
so for number 5, I wanted to pick someone, not for number 5, but I wanted to have someone on the list from my childhood.
Right.
And I thought maybe the Coyote, but I'm like, he was just hungry. He's just, animal instinct. If anything, the Roadrunner was kind of a dick, but can't really say he's a villain because he is just trying to live.
Right.
And defend himself. So,
Exactly.
but yeah, I thought of a few others, but I mean, what bigger dick than Gargamel? Like the Smurfs were some of the nicest creatures. And
Even Brainy Smurf.
Nah, nobody liked Brainy Smurf.
Nobody liked Brainy. Yeah. And let's not forget, Smurf was actually a creation of Gargamel at the beginning.
Right, that's right.
And she was evil until she found her way in. Then on. Yeah, that's a good one. I was thinking along the same lines.
I always loved the robot chicken sketch where he finally catches them, gets home, and he's so excited, and he cooks them up, and he's humming it and dancing, and he fixes it up, and he sits down and starts eating it. And he's like, scrapes it off into the fucking garbage can. He's all disappointed. He's like, "Yeah, Domino's."
Yeah, that's great. That's great. It wasn't what I was expecting. Not at all.
You never know with robot chicken. So,
yeah. Mom lied to me. Those don't taste anything like they're supposed to. All right, who's up next on your list?
All right, I think when you see the people that argue that the heroes were actually the villain in the movie, like Johnny LaRusso, people argue that Johnny LaRusso was the villain or the bad guy. I think this one, gets overlooked. He's credited as Chinese boy in the movie, but in the movie Gremlins, the son of the shop owner, he's the one that sells the thing to Hoyt Axton there. And
see, and I saw this picture. I'm like, who the heck is that kid? I've seen Gremlins 1,000 times. I do not even remember the kid. I don't. I thought the old grandpa sold it to him.
No, the grandpa didn't want to, and the kid stole it and met him out in the alleyway.
Well, he's not a villain. He was a hero to that dad that night and to his son.
Yeah.
And I mean,
we'll definitely file that one in the Johnny LaRusso category.
Yeah. I mean, that's like blaming Oppenheimer. Oh wait, too soon.
Number 3, I almost went with Weird Science and the brother.
Oh my God, Chet! Oh my God, that would have been perfect. Why did I not think of that? Wow,
I almost went with that, but equally as disgusting was Gogothan from Dogma. Of course, the shit demon created from the waste of the people that were the victims of the executions in the city. So, yeah. I actually just watched this one for the first time, like probably 5 months ago, maybe.
Wow. I love Dogma until that part. I still love all of Dogma. It's so Kevin Smith, though, right? Like Clerks 2 is a beautiful movie until Kinky Kelly. Like the whole movie is like, oh my God, this is a great movie. Kevin Smith might actually get nominated for something with this.
He has a great way of making people uncomfortable.
But I'm just saying, like, that's the hump he needs to get over. That's it. And I don't mean like Kinky Kelly's hump. Or Kelly was the trainer.
Yes. Yeah. Need to wash your eyes. This villain, when the movie came out, it was revered, and when I was talking with, I didn't prepare this story, so I can't think of his name, but I did his panel at Frightmare. He was in Aliens. He was the bad guy in Shawshank. He was one of the sisters.
Okay, yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. He worked with playing that role, and like he had encounters in public where people were like, "Oh, you're that man." He's like, "Lady, I'm an actor. Like, chill out, man." And when I was talking with Michael Berryman, he said that the lady that played Nurse Ratched had the same concerns. Like she said, everybody's gonna fucking hate me after this movie comes out,
and they probably did.
And you know what? And it's like the Joffrey Baranathan thing. I mean, if you hate a character that much,
they did a great job.
That's a credit to their acting.
Dude, and I think about it too with who was the other one? I always mix up Nurse Ratched and Mommy Dearest.
Oh, right.
Right? Like, was that Joan Collins?
Joan Collins, yeah, I think so.
And just everywhere she went afterwards too, like every role, that's what she's associated with. What's that?
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is one of my all-time favorite movies.
Dude.
She was great in it. I haven't yet watched RatG yet, though. The series that came out, I think, a year ago, maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah, I haven't either. I heard it's okay, though.
Yeah.
But, going back to One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Jack Nicholson, Danny DeVito, Christopher Lloyd,
Berryman.
Yeah, man. I mean, it was a stacked fucking cast. Yeah. Before any of them were really anybody. Like, I think that was DeVito's really first big movie. I could be wrong, but that might have been the first big hit he was in. Speaking of first, what made it to first? Who made it to first on your list of best fictional villains?
I love Rutger Hauer, and I love his movies. And I remember watching The Hitcher for the first time in probably 1986, 1987. And yeah, that movie messed me up.
It's Hobo with a Shotgun.
Yeah. I'm like 10, 11 years old watching that. So, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Like, it doesn't stand up today, but I mean, it still stands up today.
And the remake was decent. No Rutger Hauer, but yeah.
No, he's Hobo with the Shotgun, though, right?
Yeah, he is. And
that's not the same as The Hitcher.
No.
But very similar character.
Yeah. It's been a while since I've seen that one.
Speaking of Rutger Hauer, he should get honorable mention, though, as much as I hate the movie, but for Paul Beatty or whatever, what is his name? Sorry. Ray Beatty and Blade Runner.
Blade Runner, yeah.
see.
Yeah, no, it's unfortunate. He was planning to be at Fan Expo one of the first years we had media passes, and passed about a month before.
Yeah, that was sad.
Yeah.
Speaking of Comic-Con, Comic-Con's coming up in 2 weeks' time. We will be there. Panels are up and stuff now. Come out and see some people. We're going to be there. Come see us. Come take a picture with us. Whatever, man. You want to do a podcast with us, let us know. And we'll let you know if we have time. We always have time if there's marijuana. I mean, no, that's what I meant. Dude. So nice list. I like it. I like it a lot. I like you. I wanted to think of stuff from when we were kids too. So I was thinking Cobra Commander, but he was kind of a bitch, right?
Yeah.
Destro was always
Destro was, yeah.
like Destro should have been. If Destro was the head of Cobra,
Yeah, he should have just been like,
yeah, they would have wiped out everybody. Then I thought
Right.
Serpentor, and I like Serpentor was badass, but then because he's the one that stabbed Duke, remember through that fucking in the movie, he threw that snake that the first time we ever saw blood in a G.I. Joe cartoon.
all right, right.
Yeah. But then there was the guy that came after him, Meredith Burgess, Gobule or whatever. Villain there. And I never really like Skeletor was kind of a bitch, you know? Like they were all kind of corny back in the day, so I couldn't really find one. So I went to one from not really a kid show, but it was a movie when our kids were kids, I think. At least my oldest was. And there were two movies that came out at this time. There's one called Ants and another one called Bug's Life. And in A Bug's Life, we didn't have that kid at all.
He always plays a villain.
He's not the only one. I went with Hopper here, and Hopper was played by, seeing his face and I can't think of his name right now. But yeah, it was a great character, a terrifying villain who really got into the head of a lot of conspiracy theorists and that we know, especially with this speech.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line.
Ooh.
That sounds a lot like someone I know.
Like a lot of someones we know. Not gonna lie. But yeah, so Hopper, great character. James Woods played him. Yeah. Didn't even look that up, just came to me there. But I liked Hopper, and I felt like we had to have a kid one on there. But there was another one from our youth, not a cartoon though, and I was surprised you didn't have him on the list. And when I saw that you didn't, I took full advantage of that. And that is the chosen one himself, Anakin Skywalker. Rise, Lord Vader. Yeah, man. Like you want to talk about an arc, and I'm not a fan of the prequels.
Right.
But I really, really dig the prequels after the Filoni verse. Like I've said a million times, they really flushed out that Anakin's descent into the dark side.
Right.
And it is such a good story, especially like what is that? The Revenge of the Sith. When we're that era of Anakin, and right after he's force pushed the mace out the window and chopped his hand off. I mean, that's it. He's gone full dark side, and yeah, man, the younglings. That's all we gotta say. These poor younglings. And he was badass in Obi-Wan. You see that? He was Vader, and he's just going around snapping people's necks, and
and the end of Rogue One,
and right,
yeah.
and so good, so good. And I wonder what we'll get if we'll get a glimpse of him at the end of Andor.
Yeah, maybe.
So number 3. Okay, so a lot of people don't like this actor, and I get that. Troubled man, but I'm talking about the character here. And this is one of my all-time favorite movies, and I gotta say, one of the most cold-blooded villains that I think we've ever seen, and that's including Hannibal Lecter, who didn't make either one of our lists, which I'm surprised about. But I had to go with Kevin Spacey as Kaiser Soze. I mean, and I gotta tell you, the whole you remember that story he tells,
right?
Where he's talking about when he's pretending he's verbal Kint, and he's talking to Chaz Palminteri, and he's talking about Kaiser Soze executing his own family. Like, I'm like, okay, that's the real story right there, and that is
Kaiser Soze.
So good. Such a good movie. I gotta give it another watch. But he had to go up on my list. He was number 1 there, and then I thought of another role or another character, and then another one at the last second that my new roommate Chad gave me. So yeah, without further ado, number 2 on the big list, maybe the greatest villain of all time. Like, he really. Oh, now I'm going back and forth, but I'm gonna stick with him as number 2, and that is Professor James Moriarty. That is the foil to Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes being one of the very first kind of like fictional anything that I read. You know, my grandparents gave me books. I had Robin Hood. I had Robin Hood Fables. I had Elizabeth Hamilton's retelling of Greek mythology, and I had Sherlock Holmes and some Zorro stuff. And that was like my comic books before comic books. So Jim Moriarty, that dude is cold, calculating, and an absolute sociopath. But if you read Sherlock Holmes, so is Holmes. Sherlock Holmes is a sociopath as well. He just happens to lean towards the side of good for, I don't really know why. But yeah. You familiar with Moriarty at all, or Sherlock? Like,
No, I never really got into the whole Sherlock Holmes. I think I did see one of the movies.
Like the Robert Downey Jr. ones? Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, they're okay. I think the best one they've done was the modern telling with Benedict Cumberbatch as Sherlock and Martin Freeman as Dr. Watson. But this is the best Moriarty I saw, right next to the guy that played him on Star Trek. But, like, if that's my number 2, who could my number 1 be? I could still vividly see this moment, and I remember feeling for the victim that entire time of wondering, no, it wasn't a dick in the box, but what was in the box? Talking about John Doe and his 7 deadly sins, Kevin Spacey. I mean,
What's in the box?
what's in the box? My God. Yeah, that movie was just sick on so many different levels, and such a great movie too. But that's one that you watch every once in a while, like every once in a long while, and got to be all right with yourself for a while after that. I follow that up with a lot of Disney. What?
Everything's okay.
Just a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down. Yeah. So that's it. Yeah. You've obviously seen 7.
Yeah. I'm gonna say, yeah, it's probably been. I've rewatched it multiple times, but it's probably been. I'm gonna say good 3 to 5 years since I've last seen it.
Same. Mine's probably been at least 10. But I've watched it a million times, especially when it first came out.
Yeah, Amber's not. It's one of those ones where she does that thing where she likes to back into her seat because it's like so intense, and yeah.
It's so well written, so well acted. And then that scene where Brad Pitt breaks his hand and does that in real life, and like that, they actually add it to the movie. Like, so good. Anyways, I need a cleansing. I need a quick cleansing. So what we're gonna do for our quick cleansing is I'm gonna hit up our first TikTok of the night, and this one is for my buddy Steve here, just because you're my bro.
Later, Gator, and then you dapped me up and you said, "All right, where was my after wild crocodile?" Huh? Because I thought in this world, I thought the world that we lived in, when somebody says, "See you later, alligator," you say after wild crocodile. And that's why we're not friends no more, because you're toxic and you need to grow up. I don't know like what happened to you, but when somebody later gators, you after wild crocodile. I don't think that's a big ass. I just thought that was called human decency. But you've thrown all of my human rights out the window when you dapped me, bro, we said something. I thought we was closer than what we are. That's my fault. I'll take the licking for that. But all I know is that when you later gator, you after wild crocodile. And you're toxic. Grow up.
Preach.
Right. And that might have been one of our best TikToks in a while. I must say, one of our best submissions in a while.
Yeah. Like, only psychopaths wouldn't respond with in a wild crocodile.
Right? Like, especially if you're close. What are you doing? What are you doing? Are you even friends? No, I don't think so. So we're about to hop into one of our favorite segments of the day, and that's when Steve graces us with his 5-second movie review, and that is a fan favorite segment that fans favor. I write this stuff out ahead of time. I don't. Anyway, so what Steve does is we use the finest technology in the world. We put up 5 seconds on the board, and in those 5 seconds, Steve gives us his best review of said movie. And this week, what is the movie you're reviewing?
I've been watching a bunch of movies, so I was almost gonna throw them into a hat, and I was gonna prepare a bunch and have people pick what or pick one out of the hat maybe. But I settled on Big George. I went and saw The Machine last night. So
I thought you would have done that one for sure.
Yeah, I'll probably do that one next week. But I watched Big George about a week ago, and we both watched Sisu.
Right. Yeah. So I figured you're going to give a review of that. So what are you doing? Are you going to save those for each week, or like? For the next week?
I got a few to lay out now. So because I don't think there's much else coming out in the next couple weeks that I'm really big on. So I mean, Wrath of Becky maybe. But Big George. I grew up watching boxing with my dad. I used to watch the old classic fights, ESPN fights they'd show on TSN on the weekends, and I was young. And I always got to watch George's old fights. And I love George Foreman. And he made his big comeback there in the late 80s, ended up being the world champion again at like 40-something, yes. 46.
Was that Michael Moore he beat?
Michael Moore, yeah. And that was the first – I always watched him at home, but that was the first fight I actually went to like the bar to watch on like closed circuit television with my dad at the bar. So, yeah, I totally remember watching that fight. And I was always a big George Foreman fan.
Yeah, Big George. All right. Well, we're almost ready for that. Then just want to remind everybody that because it is Steve's 5-second movie review, that means that this segment is brought to you by the fine folks over at DocNet. That's what happens when I don't drink during a show.
Hopped up on I'm going around buying up the last of the watermelon monsters. It's only limited time. It's
and I'm drinking berry BioSteel, and you're drinking watermelon.
If you're watching,
I'm drinking berry. You're drinking watermelon. Fuck you, stereotypes. Fuck
right?
You. He's got fried chicken there too, bitches.
I did have fried chicken tonight.
I had tofu.
Fried chicken and mac and cheese.
I had tofu and salad. Cubed up. Hey, while I listen to Neil Sedaka.
Blowing up stereotypes.
No, I'm just kidding. I did not listen to Neil Sedaka at all. Anyways, we were saying, folks, listen, you're having fun. It's summertime. But you want to go away somewhere, but it costs money. You need to save some money. Why don't you do yourselves a favor? Cut the costs at those big corporations. Stop giving them all your money for internet. For the same service you can get from the fine folks over at docnet.ca for much cheaper. And keep it local as well. That's right. All residents of Ontario, DocNet is there to help you out. And hey, listen, if you're in Canada, just go to docnet.ca, put your address in the little finder there and see if there's a provider in your area. But DocNet will take care of you. Let them know that RatG TV sent you and have DocNet connect the world to your home. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not docking the DocNet. No.
Totally forgot.
No, because every week I did it. I've been doing it every week, and every time I do this, I was thinking of fucking, what would you like to swing on a star? You know, that fucking teenage fucking alien chick out of this world. And you had to go to sword fighting.
I work with these young kids, and they have told me stuff from the internet that
from the internet.
I didn't want to know.
When they say that, it's really their life. It's their home.
Well, yeah. We have this one kid that we work with. He's the would you rather kid. Constantly.
And he's always taking the worst. What do you mean, like top or bottom? I don't know. Anyways, let's get to your review. Big George Foreman. Steve, why don't we just let's just sing the song. It's time for Steve's 5 second movie review by Steve. Yeah. Batman hands. Those are Batman hands. All right. Steve, you are reviewing the movie Big George. We are going to get the best tech out there and have the 5 seconds put on the board. Are you ready, sir?
I am ready.
5 seconds is up on the board. You may begin now.
It was better than a grilled cheese sandwich. If you know what I mean.
I'm not sure I do, but
the Foreman grill.
Yeah, I figured you're going the Foreman grill. But you just limit it just to a grilled cheese sandwich?
Well, no, I mean, yeah,
it's so versatile, boy.
That was the majority of my Foreman grill use was grilled cheese sandwiches.
That was the base for everything in a Foreman grill was a grilled cheese sandwich.
Yeah,
it's gonna have cheese. It's gonna have bread. Then it's like, what else is going in there?
Right.
Leftover spaghetti? Okay. Leftover meatloaf? Okay. Fucking half a bag of chips? Okay. You didn't do that stuff?
He made, I think he made around $400 million off the Foreman grill.
Oh,
At one point, he was making like 5 figures a month off grill sales. He ended up selling the rights, I think, in the I'm gonna say early 2000s.
Yeah,
and he got quite a bundle for that too. So yeah, he did all right financially. He had the TV show there for a while, but the movie I'm not a religious guy. I have no problem with people that have faith. George Foreman is a very religious guy. He left boxing to be a preacher. He really is just the money went dry in his foundation. He couldn't keep his rec centers open anymore, and that's why he returned to boxing, was to fund his community centers to keep kids off the street. And so he was really just a great guy, and it's a true story. And when you can watch a movie that brings you back to a memory, like watching that fight, like it was, I had chills, and it was really emotional. It was such a great movie, such a great story about a great man, and I really enjoyed it.
So, what did you give Big George?
I gave it a 4.
Wow, big.
Yeah,
big. That's good. That's good. So, tell me a little bit about the actors, like, because I don't recognize them really.
Yeah, and I don't have his name in front of me, but obviously there was some CGI done because George's weight transformations throughout the years,
right?
Post first retirement, he came back. I think he was his original trainer after 10 years. When he wanted to come back, he's like, "You get to 240." Who was played by Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah, and Chris Davis played Big George.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, he said you can get down to 240. He said I'm like 240. He's like 250. All right, like 263. He's like, if you get down to 240, he's like, I'll train you again, because he did not want to put him back in the ring.
No, because he thought he was going to die.
Yeah, but he came back and he shocked the world and knocked out Michael Moore. And
I remember watching it because boxing was huge still at that point. Like you said, I remember going to the bars and stuff and watching. Like I remember going. Would have been after Tyson Holyfield, because I remember watching that in the bars and watching that with Mark Dixon and his dad like freaking out, going, "It's bollocks! That's bollocks!" Like I had never seen his dad ever angry ever in my life. And
Tyson Holyfield won. I was at Beastie Boys in Molson Park, and my dad was recording the fight at home on pay-per-view and was going to leave it in the mailbox for me. So when we got back at into 2, 3 in the morning, we went right over to my buddy's house and threw the tape in and watched the fight.
That's awesome, your dad. That's a big dad move. Awesome, brother. Well, that's good. I'm gonna have to check it out. And if you want, we can hold off on our Sisu stuff. I'll give my thoughts when you do your review then as well. And
I'll do Sisu next week, and we'll hold Bert off for 2 weeks so we don't get too many spoilers.
Speaking of spoilers, I don't know how I'm going to do this, folks.
Hamill's his dad.
It is. James Avery's my father. No. I won tickets to go to the screening of the Flash movie tomorrow, which doesn't come out till June 16th in theaters. And I believe the writers of the movie are going to be presenting it in Toronto, which is going to be pretty cool. Big thanks to Niagara Falls Comic-Con for putting on the contest.
Was it like the green carpet premiere that we went to for Aquaman?
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's, and I would have asked you, but
No.
I had that boy.
Anyway.
Yeah. It's going to be great. A lot of people, a lot of critics, a lot of geek critics that got the advanced screening already are saying it's the best superhero movie ever made. Now, to be fair, people say that about comic book movies a lot lately. They either say it's the worst movie ever made, Ant-Man and the Wasp, or it's the best ever made. Fucking everything else that's come out. But I'm really hopeful for it. I just don't know how to feel about the Ezra Miller thing, right?
Yeah.
If he's really good, that's going to be tough. But I'll try not to give too many spoilers, folks. I'll just give my opinion on the movie, and we'll go from there. We got our news coming up in just a second. I'm gonna play my actually. I just because I got the last TikToker of the week, and I just don't know if I want to play it before or after you do. I'm just gonna. You know what? Let's get started with the news. Let's just do the news, and I will play it, and hopefully it'll put a smile on our face. Hopefully. Anyways, here's the news. Well, it's that time of week again, and it was a rough one again. And you got your sickle cut out for you this week. No pun intended.
Yeah, we don't throw around the. I know the tabloids like to. I don't throw around the name legend too often, but this next one was simply, to put it, one of the best.
Yeah.
Tina Turner, 83 years old, died in Switzerland. She was a naturalized Swiss citizen for the last, I think, 7 years of her life.
No way.
But born in the U.S., started out as part of the Ike and Tina review, and eventually going out on her own. And she was she had so much energy and put so much into her music and her. It's one of those people you can watch, even if you're not maybe a fan of her style of music. You can see the heart and soul that she poured into her performances.
One of the original divas. Sad, she was always known for her legs, right? Like her and Mary Hart. But yeah, she was a hell of a performer, and like I said, a pretty sad thing. And there's not. I think this is still maybe the best time for it.
Tina Turner? Oops. You suck at this job. I think she's simply the best. Tina? No, her.
Thank you.
For the love of me. What's love got to do with it?
Maybe more than you know.
Whoa, Jesus.
Dad, I got an A in Bible study.
As you should.
Well, Mom was impressed.
Huh, proud Mary. I hate it here.
I know it was too soon, but I mean,
hey, laughter's the best medicine.
We hope so. And and that's obviously he does that in fucking tribute to her, not in jest. That's for sure. Yeah. But Tina was not the only big name or legend that we know.
This guy led the league in rushing for 8 of his 9 seasons with the Cleveland Browns. He was an actor. He was a civil rights activist. 87 years old, Jim Brown. Yeah. Like you said, another legend.
A lot of people say he's the greatest running back of all time because he would just run through everybody. Yeah. I mean, but he was a giant playing among like little kids basically at that point in his career. Like he was the linebacker of today's size playing running back then.
Right.
Like remember we had Chuck LeMay playing running back for us back in the day.
Yeah, and Jean-Marc LeMay is the center.
Right. That's what anybody could do. Two like almost 7 foot tall dudes that were like.
Yeah, there's a reason they called him Chuck the Truck.
Right. Yeah, it was good times. Good times. But Jim Brown, one of the all-time greats, and great Brown. And great actor. Of course, you loved him from because he was in a couple of the Romero films, you said?
Yeah.
The Walking Dead films. And then I loved him as well in Mars Attacks.
Oh, right.
He was great. So, and not the end of the badasses that we've lost this weekend.
Yeah, 58 years old is not the ones we'd like to report. We don't like to report any of them, but 59, Ray Stevenson, known for Thor, Punisher, and the upcoming Ahsoka.
Yes, dude. Oh, good call. It's like we almost had that graphic prepared. Man, and he's been in so much too. He was in that show Rome. I never watched it, but a lot of people
I didn't either.
Watch it and talk about it being like the original fucking badass show. That helped pave the way for Vikings and shows like that, right? I don't know if Rome was a spinoff of Spartacus or if it came after it, or if it was the other way around.
Great British actor though, and not to poke fun at all because it's a totally separate thing. But when I saw the name and the death, and before I saw the picture, my childlike brain automatically went to, oh man, the guy who wrote The Streak died, and that's Ray Stevens, not Ray Stevenson.
PH. Oh, Stevenson.
Stevens
With a PH.
No, not with the PH, but it's still Stevenson. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I feel like there's a Ray Stevens I know as well with a PH. Now I have to look it up, but
Oh yes, they call him Streak.
no.
The song's probably racist now in some way.
Oh, that's what I was thinking. Actually, it wasn't an actor; it was the singer.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was his name. I didn't know that was the song he sang. All right. Streaker. All right. Speaking of the streaker.
The Streak. Yeah.
Speaking of the streak or the Flash, the streak of CW airing an Arrowverse show has finally come to the end with the series finale of the Flash. The last of the CW universe spinoffs to be out there. I know some of you are like, whoa, what about Superman and Lois? One, they're just on hiatus right now, and they'll come back to finish their season. But as far as everyone knows, that's done, and that's no longer part of the CW Arrowverse. It's its own universe now. That's not, even though the Clark looks the same, it's the same actor, but it's a different universe. Shut up. I don't write this stuff. What they said, it's the end. I watched the last episode. I stuck it out all the way through all these shows. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. This season was one of their better seasons, though. I'm glad they put a lot more effort into it. And the last episode was basically, it was a 4-parter over 4 episodes, obviously. So I mean, they did all right. Am I sad to see it go? No, I think they served their time, and we'll see what the CW does now. I'm saying within 2 years, it's nothing but reality shows like Spike TV happened. It'll be the same thing.
Yeah.
It's going to be all like, and it won't. You'll have a couple fake.
They're cheap. They're cheap for networks to put on.
And you don't have to pay writers. You cheap son of a bitches. You cheap son of a bitches. Squirrel went berserk. Squirrel went berserk.
I mean, usually.
Yeah, squirrely. Things get squirrely. Oh, on the thing, on the Flash, maybe. Hey, you know what? There's another remake out. Not a remake, but we're getting a someone recreating someone.
Yeah, not who I would have picked, and you kind of hit the nail on the coffin, or on the head at least, not on the coffin, but John Madden movie is coming out, and Will Ferrell is so he's not signed yet, but he is the lead candidate, and they're basically saying it's all but done. But yeah, I don't know why they wouldn't have him in a biopic of Harry Carey. And have Frank Caliendo as Madden.
Yeah, exactly.
Even the prosthetics or CGI or whatever you need to do.
You don't even have to do that much with Frank. Just put makeup on him, Like with Will, you have to put a bigger fat suit on him, right?
Yeah.
No, there's all right. I mean, I guess, but why? And when you said Harry Carey, I was like, oh damn, for sure.
Harry Carey.
No. My favorite Harry Carey quote, I don't know if I've ever told you this or not before. So our fellow Wellander, and not Welland native, but played for the Welland Pirates and still lives here, but ended up playing for the Chicago Cubs. That's Scott Bullitt. Scott Bullitt was playing for the Cubs, and he and his wife gave birth to their daughter. And Harry Carey said, "I would like to congratulate Scott Bullitt and his daughter on the birth of their new child." Second best commentator of all time. Rick Jenneret right up here. Harry Carey. I like the train wrecks, as you can see.
Yeah. I mean, did they hang out with Marty Jannetty too?
You keep Marty Jannetty out of there, all right? Keep Marty Jannetty. Fuck that guy. All right. Well, hey, my next story. I know you're not a big fan of comic books or anything, but you know that Nick Fury in the comic books has always been a white dude, right? Like, kind of looked
right.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
With the patch and the hair. You can see him here. And then he, in the movies, he looks like how he does in the middle there. But you look on the two sides, those are their original Nick Fury. Believe it or not, that's not Samuel L. Jackson in the front. That is Nick Fury Jr., Nick Fury Sr.'s son that they added years ago, trying to cash in on the Samuel L. Jackson thing.
So did he rip out his own eye to honor his father?
No, it was just happenstance. And I never read I have read the comic, like his origin story, but I didn't see how the eye thing happened. I didn't keep reading it.
Totally unrelated, but for some reason it made me think of the Ridiculous Six with the Left Eye Club or the Left Eye Gang.
And the one guy had a right eye?
And the one guy, they made him do it and then found out that the other guys actually didn't take out their eyes.
Oh, right. Yeah. That was stupid. Well, the reason why I bring up Nick Fury Jr., because I said they've changed it years ago. And Nick Fury had become taken over for the Watcher, Uata. And I don't know if you know, but if you saw at the end, I think it was at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and it was Stan Lee sitting on the moon with a bunch of these tall-looking dudes. Anyways, alien dudes. They're the Watchers. Anyways, he took over for him in the comic books. Well, he's going away permanently now from the comic books. He is retiring. He is... There are worse ways to retire, as we see here from the final panels there, as Nick Fury, the original, is bidding adieu. That's not him speaking. That's actually his son talking. And, I mean, all right. This is the best way to do it, I think. And I do appreciate that they don't just straight up race swap. It's actually, it's his son, right? So, but... I know you, buddy. This will always be your Nick Fury. You had the wrong eye patch. Like, it switches throughout the movie, eh? Oh, God. Yeah. Oh, hey, man. There's the way things go when rolling with them dragons. I don't know. I have no segue.
That's all right. We don't need one. This show doesn't need a segue. It had a great first season. Was expected to only be 3 to 4 seasons. They didn't want to, I guess, pull another Game of Thrones and have to rush, or I don't know what the reasoning behind that was. But now they're saying that they're really leaning towards past 4 seasons. So great for Game of Thrones and House of Dragons fans. I loved the first season. Left us on a huge cliffhanger. So
I'm not sure because I never watched it. I still haven't come back from that. I'm still not over the Red Wedding. I won't be. I refuse. But I'm glad everybody else is having fun with the debauchery and death and all that fun stuff. How many more seasons do you think they can get out of this? They're just going to milk it as long as they can, eh?
Yeah, I think 5 or 6 is a good number.
Yeah,
because for 3 or 4 can sometimes feel really short, especially if the show's good, after, in season 3 and 4 still. So like I really felt Ozarks was one of the best shows I watched in a really long time. And I thought that last season, the last season was kind of, we could have got another one because it almost feels like they didn't know how to end it.
Oh, speaking of which, we got Ted Lasso is going to be ending soon.
Yeah.
But now there's new rumor. Like Brett Goldstein was on some podcast saying that once the strike's over, they're going to be writing more episodes. So now I don't know what's happening because Sudeikis is saying one thing and he's saying the other. I'm caught up now. Everybody, not everybody, because I'm not including you, but most people or a lot of people were complaining about season 2 and season 3 of that show. And I thought they were like I thought the seasons got better each year. Like season 3, I think is like off the chart. And I love season 2. Not like Nate being such a dick, but whatever, like story arc. I get it.
Yeah.
And we finally got the payoff last episode. So
yeah, I like it. I'm still enjoying it. So
yeah. I'll take a couple more seasons if I can.
Yeah.
But that's speaking of the writer strike and Brett Goldstein there. Deadpool 3 has officially begun filming, but Ryan Reynolds is a part of the writers union. Before they started filming, just like they are. But a huge part of every Deadpool movie is just Ryan Reynolds going out there and improvising.
Right.
Now, if Ryan Reynolds is just a normal actor, no problem, I think. And if you're a producer, no problem. Director, no problem. As long as you're just adding a couple lines here or there, not a big deal.
Yeah.
But because he is a writer on the movie and the script has already been submitted, he is not allowed to improvise at all during this writer's strike. And I'm not, this isn't me trying to speak out against the writer's strike because I'm totally in favor of it because it makes no sense that this is the way people want to say, oh, they make so much money. They make a lot of money if they live anywhere else but Hollywood, where they work. And if you're a football team, let's try to make it as a football team. The director and producer are your head coaches. The actors are your football players. Your script writers are your offensive coordinators and your defensive coordinators, the ones that write up the plays for everyone, who become directors and the head coaches. You're going to tell me that if you're a professional, is there any professional football team out there that isn't paying an offensive or defensive coordinator enough to survive nicely wherever they live in the city that they work? And that's what they have to think, especially when you look at David Zaslav, the head of Max, just gave himself what, $250 million. Like, just pay them. Just pay them, or we get Heroes season 2.
Yeah. Everybody's got to get paid, man.
Yeah. They work, they should get it. I'm not saying everybody should get the most money, but you should get enough. If you want them to work there, then you should pay them the money. And AI is not going to do it. Like the one sign said, AI doesn't have childhood trauma. So, anyways, that was my big thing with that. And I'm almost over my rant, but I'll have another one later. What do you got next, buddy?
Next story. The Machine opened last night. Comedian Bert Kreischer, basically the story of his college years, taking Russian. He ended up going on a class trip there, and out came this story, this bit that he ended up telling on Joe Rogan. And Joe Rogan's like, he's like, you got to do this like in your act. Like this is the clip on YouTube went viral. He's had 3 Netflix specials since. The last one, hilarious. I belly laughed the entire one. I already thought he was pretty funny. His second special was meh, but last one was really good, and the machine story was great. This movie, it opened with $3 million last night. So
Have you seen it?
I went and saw it last night. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. So it's worth the price of admission for you, though.
Yeah, to not, I'm not going to rate it because I may review it, but I enjoyed it. I saw the machine bit. I knew the story. They basically wrote Van Wilder based off him.
Right. Yeah. And I heard
he published in Rolling Stone magazine about him. He was this big party guy at Florida State. He'd been there for like 7 years. And yeah.
Yeah. So I'd seen that and I knew that part. And I know he's never been credited with it.
No.
And like for the Van Wilder movie, even though never, which is kind of strange.
Yeah.
Because that was the movie that kind of launched Reynolds.
Yeah. Right.
But it is what it is.
Mark Hamill was great as the dad, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mark Hamill's great, though, period.
Yeah.
We need to put him in bubble wrap. He's going to have to get up for that. Just saying. We can't lose, our Joker. And Luke. Of course, Luke.
Did you see, not a story we had, but he said that he's okay with them recasting Luke Skywalker, but just doesn't think there's any more stories to be told.
Yeah, and I don't know that. Like, I would like to see Sebastian Stan take over as Luke Skywalker and give us the story of Luke building the Jedi Temple, like rebuilding the temple, him and Ahsoka, and, kind of, because there's, like we need. Listen, I posted that thing from Sam Witwer where he's talking about how Luke was so drastically changed in The Last Jedi, and that's fine. But give us the backstory. Like, just don't give us, oh, he just had a bad dream one night and he almost killed Ben, and that was the thing. Like, show it. Like there was there had to have been stuff that built up to it. It wouldn't have just been one bad dream. It would have been, Ben showing signs over a course of time or whatever, right? Like Anakin, as we watched Anakin grow, there was shit that he's doing that, like Qui-Gon or fucking Obi-Wan would look over and be like, okay, that was a bit much. Or Padme even. So give us that and I'd be all right with it. That's just me. But that's just stuff.
There's definitely stories to be told for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of stories to be told there. Speaking of stories being told, I am a huge fan of Strange New Worlds on Paramount. I love all Star Trek, but I really love new Star Trek, even though a lot of people don't seem to. But everybody seems to love Strange New Worlds. Its second season is coming out, streaming June 15th. And we are getting a killer crossover of it with the cartoon, The Lower Decks. That's right. Boimler and Mariner are both making their live action debut. And that is Tawny Newsome and Jack Quaid. Jack Quaid, of course, we know from The Boys. Son, of course, of Meg Ryan and Dennis Quaid.
Yeah. And in the last Scream movie.
And in the last Scream movie, which I still haven't seen. Or the one before that. But I did see the first 3.
You're good then.
Right?
I mean, they were all right, but they weren't like.
I heard the last one was really good.
Yeah, it was decent. I haven't. I saw the newest one, and it was. I think I like the last one better, but they've been all right still. Like I still enjoy it. It's a classic whodunit, right?
And it's always lately someone who was already dead for a while.
Right.
Yes. I've seen that much in the memes. But hey, that's the way it goes. We're not done with the Star Wars and Star Trek talk at all. What do you got up for bid right now?
Well, item is going to be going for auction June 28th to 30th. You can go and look online and find the site. They expect this to be going for 7 figures easily. The lay address from A New Hope, as you see here, tons of other items are going to be on auction, but this is going to be the big ticket one. I gotta wonder. I didn't look it up before the show, but I gotta think the Slave Leia outfit. I would have thought that would have fetched more.
I don't know. Let's see. How much did fit? What?
Because I mean, yeah, I remember her wearing that dress in A New Hope, but I mean, not to be objectifying her. It's just a famous, girls cosplay it as all the time, and it's probably one of her most famous looks.
$96,000.
Oh,
the opening bid started at 80 grand. 63,220 pounds. It was sold in Great Britain, I think, no, that's just the article. Yeah, sold for 96,000 at auction. Opening bid of 80. So yeah, they got it for a steal. Maybe just not so much at that time. Speaking of a steal and writer strikes, David Zaslav. Everyone's starting to know that name. The guy that taken the HBO out of HBO Max. The guy that killed Batgirl after it was made and ready to be released, and just keeps cutting jobs. And the guy that gave himself, what was it? I don't know if he gave himself, but he got a $250 million raise. I'm just saying the dude's not everyone's favorite right now. Although he was at Boston College and he got booed when he was there, and it wasn't nice, buddy.
Yeah,
Off to deliver the 150th commencement address of Boston University.
Dr. Brown, Dr. Fakahani, thank you so much for those kind words.
And I don't know if you can hear, but there's a chant that starts going on saying, "Pay your writers," and then booing the shit out of them.
Thanks also to the trustees of the university and to my fellow recipients. It's a great day with all of you. If you want to be successful, you're going to have to figure out how to get along with everyone. And that includes difficult people.
No sense of irony at all in this part of this speech either.
Some people will be looking for a fight. But don't be the one they find it with. Focus on people's good qualities.
I mean, good try to save there, but like, if he had to have known, and then once he sees the crowd out there, you got to be like, okay, let me look at this speech and see if there's anything that I'm going to fucking be contradicting myself with. Yeah. I could have put up so much more from that speech, and absolutely, that dude has no clue whatsoever. But I mean, at least the Flash is going to be great. What do you got for us, buddy?
This next story, Bad Boys 4, of course, we know is coming out, and actress, I don't have her name.
Oh, that's not the next story.
That's not the next story?
No, I had Becky next, but that's okay.
Oh. That's all right, because for some reason.
No, it's that story anyways, the Bad Boy story. Here it is.
For some reason, I don't have her name.
Well,
anyway.
we skipped one anyway. We both skipped the story, but there you go.
Yeah. Her name is Rhea C. I don't know. I believe it's Rhea, and I don't know why I don't have it written down.
Oh, that's because you're a professional
I know I wrote it down.
That's okay, buddy. I'm sure I can hook you up.
I don't know. I messed up, man. Rhea Seahorn. I knew it.
Rhea Seahorn. Yeah, I would just, you know what?
Rhea
My
Seahorn.
IMDb to pull it
It's
up.
right there. From Better Call Saul. She was great in that. Did you watch Bad Boys 3?
Yeah, I've watched all the Bad Boys.
Yeah, I haven't seen 3.
Yeah. Because that was the latest one.
Right.
Where they started to make the kind of pass the torch to the new generation. It was all right. It was. I mean, there were some. I mean, they went fast and the furious with a lot of stuff. So there's a lot of unbelievable stuff.
When we went to the drive-in last night to see The Machine, and it didn't start till midnight. It was the second movie, and we didn't go till the second movie. I was going to go early and watch Fast X, but then I was like, I don't have to.
You really don't. Oh, sorry. Excuse me. I got this horrible cough.
I can jog whenever I want.
Yeah, you can. You can. As long as you say you're there with family. Did we talk about this story? I think we skipped this one too.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, that's how the whole skipping got there. So this is a picture of Halle Berry that she put on her IG saying patience takes practice. And if you can notice there, she's got the white hair going like she did as Storm. We know Deadpool 3 is coming. We know that Hugh Jackman's Wolverine's going to be in it. There's rumors that Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart will be there. Getting a lot of the other characters that were in it as well. Peter, Negasonic Teenage Warhead, and Yukio are all going to be there. So we're all figuring Halle Berry's come back to Storm because that kind of looks like her hair there. But she had really short hair as Catwoman as well.
This is true.
And her name in Catwoman wasn't Selena Kyle because she wasn't Batman's Catwoman. It was a different one. Her name was Patience Phillips. And this says patience takes practice. And everybody hated, like it's revered, like she got a Razzie for that. She showed up to the Razzies and took the award for the best or the worst actress that year. Are we getting a Catwoman 2? Or when I go watch The Flash on Sunday, am I going to get a Catwoman from the multiverse? We got Michael Keaton there. We've got a Latino Supergirl there. We've got 2 Flashes. Maybe she's Storm. Maybe she could be Storm. But I'm really thinking now she means she's going to be fucking Catwoman. Patience Phillips. Patience takes practice.
Yeah.
Just saying. What can I say? There's me, Batman, and Sherlock Holmes. Just call me Cypher. That's oh my God. It's terrible. Now we can go to good old Bex.
Yeah, not only did The Machine open last night, but Becky had a limited release last night, and this is the second movie. The first one, of course, featuring her and Kevin James, who is no longer with us. Spoiler. Sean William Scott will be in Wrath of Becky, and on the eve of the movie being released, they announced that this is the second in the trilogy. So they've already announced the third movie coming. I really enjoyed the first one. It was a lot of fun if you like those kind of movies. So
why not announce it's just, by the way, here's the sequel. Or did we report on it before?
Maybe we reported on this one.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. About this season. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, Tatooine's falling apart, and I just throwing me off there. It's like you're.
Yeah, it's a Facebook user Moon 6743.
Oh, right. Makes perfect sense now.
It's a good thing she's half asleep right now because she could have took that Moon comment a lot different.
Good thing she heard the N.
What did I do?
You didn't do anything, baby. Well, that Moon's passing over Tatooine again.
There you go. Well, hey, you're a gamer like I am. You're not a PlayStation guy though, but do you remember they had that handheld PSP?
Yep.
It was awesome. Like that thing was amazing. I don't know why it didn't keep going. And I was really, really hoping that we were going to get a new PSP because there were rumors of a new PlayStation handheld coming out. And it's been announced, and there it is. But it's going to be much like the Switch, and it's going to connect directly to your PS5. So if you're playing away from home, your PS5's going to have to be on, and you're going to need to connect to Wi-Fi wherever you're playing at. Just give me a PSP, man. Like, seriously, PlayStation. You call it a PSP2. I don't know, but this just it seems silly, and like they're just kind of trying to chase the Nintendo market there.
Yeah, I mean, Zelda is a huge hit right now for the Nintendo Switch. So yeah.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Just stay in your lane, PlayStation. Stay in your lane.
No, me and Austin were talking about going halvers on maybe a PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5 because there's a bunch of games he wants to play, like God of War and a few others.
Just get
and I want to play Uncharted and Last of Us. So
yeah, go halfers and get the 5 because there's a bunch of new games that are coming out that are going to be like on that level, and all the new games that are coming out. I got a PS4,
boxing too.
Yeah. Well, all the PS4, like I have a PS4, I don't have a PS5, and all the games that are coming out that I want aren't on PS4. Yeah, settle for fucking Hogwarts?
I mean, it happens.
If you don't use protection. I watch Black Mirror. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't know if I saw that episode.
Marley Loves Films. What's up, Marley? Go follow Marley Loves Films over on TikTok, guys. He's a great guy, I got to tell you. Hey, guys, long time. What's the topic today? The topic today is our favorite villains that weren't comic book characters. Steve can run through them if you want. Marley, Hogwarts Legacy is fun. It is fun. I'm not gonna lie. I've got it, and I'm not a Harry Potter guy. I've only watched the first movie, but yeah. I'm having fun with the game. More fun with the game than I do with the movies. Steve's top 5. Number 5, he went with Gargamel. Number 4 was, who was this kid from Gremlins?
He's the kid that sold the Mogwai.
He went behind his grandfather's back and sold the Mogwai.
He's the villain.
You got the poop monster at number 3 from Dogma. Then you got everybody's favorite nurse, Nurse Ratchet from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And at number 1, Rucker Hauer in The Hitcher. For me, number 5, I had Hopper from A Bug's Life. Anakin came in at number 4, Darth Vader. Kevin Spacey was not just Kevin Spacey. His character, Kaiser Soze, we said fictional, but when we do non-fictional, he'll be on the list as well. Kaiser Soze. What? Show me the lie. But Kaiser Soze was my number 3.
Kevin Spacey.
Moriarty was my number 2. And my number 1 was Kevin Spacey yet again, but this time as John Doe.
What's in the box?
In 7. Dude, that movie's, it's just so haunting, dude. Like, it's so emotionally haunting. It's almost as haunting as seeing Lizzo Simpsonized.
Well, yeah. The scene that gets me in 7 every time is the bordello or the house of ill repute that they go to, and the guy's wearing the
gift, everything.
Yeah. How do you want to say it? Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe I must have blocked that part
off me. Get it off me.
I don't even remember anymore now. Honestly, I must have blocked that part out.
Yeah, good for you.
I remember Sloth. I remember Gluttony. I remember Pride.
Yeah, this was Lust.
Oh. What's that?
This was Lust. Yeah, the one I'm thinking of was Lust. Ugh. Yeah. But yeah, The Simpsons 750th episode, season 34. They had 750 characters appear in this episode, of course, featuring Lizzo here, as well as a bunch of others. Dolly Parton was spotted, Queen, the Rolling Stones, and many others.
Right on. Sounds like a pretty epic time. And that was their what episode?
750th.
Yeah. How much longer are they going?
I don't know.
Until Nancy Cartwright dies, basically.
Right.
Until one of the main three, right?
Yeah.
Nancy Cartwright,
Hank Azaria,
or fucking what's her name? Oh my God, that does Marge's voice.
Yeardley Smith.
Julie Kavner, or yes, Yeardley Smith. Yeardley Smith does Lisa.
Yeah.
Remember her on Herman's Head?
Yeah.
And on The Big Bang Theory. There was a wrestling pay-per-view that just happened. Roman Reigns has got he's got both heavyweight titles, Monday Night Raw and SmackDown, and he's had them for 1,000 days now. So the WWE created a new title. So now there's 3 world heavyweight titles.
Oh, hey. Boxing did it.
Right. Oh, hey. Well, they had their pay-per-view from Saudi Arabia, Night of Champions, and opening match was to see who would be crowned as the new world heavyweight champion, which is supposed to honor the McMahon's legacy and all the years of the WWE. And it came down to AJ Styles, the phenomenal one, and Seth freaking Rollins. And if you've been watching wrestling at all lately, you knew who was going to win it. And a great match, fantastic match, but it did go to Seth freaking Rollins. I love that they call him Seth freaking Rollins in his name, though. And they market him as the first champ. And he says that he's not going to be like Roman Reigns and take time off. I really wonder, was he just like complaining behind the scenes? Like, I'm going to go to AEW if you don't give me a title soon. Like, I don't want the Intercontinental. I don't want the U.S. title. I'm a heavyweight champ. Like, you think it was that? And because the Roman Reigns thing, 1,000 days, like, you keep that going as long as you can and break some records. You want to do something special. You've got him this far. You don't want to drop the ball like you did with The Undertaker and have him lose at WrestleMania after being 31 and 0.
No.
You got to make him lose at 32? Stupid. Anyways, I'm almost over my rant. But yeah, Seth freaking Rollins, congrats, champ. I wonder how long until Roman Reigns takes that belt too, and he's got all 4. And then they just make it into one belt. That's what would make sense. An untitled belt, if you will. Almost like having an untitled sequel to a movie. That's a segue.
Oh, I do have another story. That's right. This was a last-minute addition. We just got Cocaine Bear. We know we're getting Attack of the Meth Gator, and now we have Cocaine Shark.
That we do. I saw this actually posted last week as well, or the week before, and of course we're getting Cocaine Shark.
I mean, I'm gonna watch it, but
just make it a universe. That's the thing, though. That's the thing. Like, make it a universe. Like, this isn't a sequel to Cocaine Bear.
No,
and it should be from the same makers of it. Like, they should. I can't believe I'm saying this, but they should fucking TM trademark the fucking cocaine franchise, like the Fast and the Furious.
Yeah.
Cocaine Bear, Cocaine Shark, Cocaine.
Again, not a
cocaine clownfish.
Not a story that I had, but the latest in old fairy tales and old properties that are the copyrights have run out on. The latest one to be horrorized will be Cinderella Curse.
You know what though? Okay, I'm gonna get to that wrestling comment in just a second. Have you ever read the original Cinderella?
It's morbid.
Like they chop her feet off. It's gonna be. if they do it, listen. If they do it, the original way, the original stuff, and why couldn't they have done it already though? Because
the copyrights are
open. Like
Yeah.
Disney doesn't own Cinderella.
Yeah.
They own their Cinderella, but like the other one is well over 100 years old and was.
That's true.
That's how Disney got all their stories was from old Hans Christian Andersen stories and Grimm Brothers stories and shit like that. Yeah, I damn. Like, give us a proper Hansel and Gretel.
There's been a couple like smaller production, and there was actually there was one that was a big box office release as well. I don't think it did all that well though.
What do you think about Boogeyman?
So, yeah, I totally forgot I was going to talk about that. So I saw the trailer last night for the first time, right before The Machine came on, and it looks pretty good. I'm not going to lie. Steve, we were talking about it, and he read the books. He said the books are pretty intense.
Yeah.
And he said if they stay true to that, he's hopeful of their story. I mean, you hear this crap all the time, but I heard stories of it was at a film festival and people were walking out because it was too scary.
Yeah, I heard the same thing. That's why I actually asked you.
Yeah.
Well, you have to.
People also said people were throwing up in the aisles during Terrifier 2. And I'm not puke shaming anyone. Because that bedroom scene in Terrifier 2, it just won the Chainsaw Award this weekend for best kill. And I mean,
does it deserve it?
I don't know if about best kill, but it's definitely goriest kill of all time, no doubt. So deserving of the award this year for sure.
Well, I'll hold off of that one.
Yeah. Don't
Will says, do you think Roman Reigns will beat Bruno Sammartino's record as champion? Yeah, I think that's why he's holding on to the title this long. And I should say I think. I'll just say it does lead to me believing, or at least thinking that it's plausible, that Seth Rollins was just not having it, like not happy, not wanting to see history be made. I forget how long how long is his record? Well, let us know in the comments there. But yeah, I mean, why not though? Like, records are made to be broken, and I'm down for seeing it my entire life, seeing as much as I can. Birds bite the girl's eye out. You think that's bad? You should read the original Sleeping Beauty. Why? What happened? Oh, I feel like I know too. I think it was called Sun, Moon, and Talia. Damn. Now we got some shit to look up as well, which I don't know if I can handle that kind of nonsense, to be fair. Oh, here we go. Oh, 2,803 days. I have no idea what that means. Oh, that's how long Bruno.
For Bruno.
Oh, damn. I don't know. That's a long time. That's years, man. I don't think Roman Reigns would want to do that. And that's also, though, let's also remember, Bruno Sammartino's record was in the era of almost like remember Goldberg's record when he was undefeated?
Yeah, that's right.
And one week it was like, oh, he's 15-0, and then the next week he's like 32-0, and it's like, what the fuck?
So that's 5 years, a little more, almost 5.5 years for Bruno Sammartino.
Yeah, I can't see it. Honestly. Storyline wise, nowadays fans can't hold on that long. Yeah. That's a long time. That's one that's not going to get touched. And they'd be thinking about that more than. I mean, maybe because you got to get started. But 1,000, he's only at 1,000. Yeah, I don't
Long
know.
run.
That is a very long run.
Bigger audience to satisfy too, rather than a traveling audience with
Right.
very little TV coverage.
And he would basically aimed at New York at that point, and they were just selling out Madison Square Garden because he had sold out Madison Square Garden. Like, I think he had the record for the most times Madison Square Garden was sold out, at least for a wrestling event. But I don't know. Je ne sais pas, mon frère. Anything else for us? Got anything else going on this week, buddy?
No, went to the movies last night and just gonna chill for the rest of the weekend. Gonna be hot next week, so
nice.
We're getting into the shit now.
Dude, we are in the shit right now. We're in that time where I'm hating having my lights on. Yeah, and what do I got next week? I got a commercial. Oh, we'll go to see Flash tomorrow, obviously. And I'll check in with everybody after that to let you know what I thought. Monday, I'm back playing the judge again. Judge Zeus back. That's it. Gonna make sure Lavender Joe is doing as he's told, and then I got another shoot next week, and then I'm moving, and then there'll be no show the next week because my oldest, my baby girl, is getting married. So
and weekend after that, we'll be coming to you live from Comic-Con. So
yeah, make sure you tune in or come see us at Comic-Con, and maybe we'll do a little live stream there. I know we say that many years and never end up doing it just because we get busy and we're old.
They work us.
Anyways,
those crowds when you're old,
right, dude? Just my knees.
Yeah,
my knees. All right, buddy. All right, on that one, I think it's a good time for us to go. Thank you for everybody who tuned into the show. Thank you, Will, for the comments. And yeah, folks, remember, if
buy, consume, obey.
Make sure that if you don't know who the villain in your life is, you know that means it's you. From the Wellandwingnut, it's your boy Zeus. We'll see you all in a couple weeks. Bye.